Welcome to a skillet and a saxophone. So today, leftovers. What are we going to do about leftovers? So I'm going to show you what I have to work with, and I want your response. What would you do with what I have here? There's one that, let's get to it. So this is what I have to work with. I got some green peppers, I have squash, onion. This is rotisserie chicken. I got the meat off from Costco. This is going to be my problem child right there. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Rice, and I have some Brussels sprouts that's there, roasted vegetables, some tofu, and this is from the other day as well. That's some potato. That I'm not going to touch because that's just a great meal and stuff. I did some pasta with some homemade pesto and some sun-dried tomatoes. That's really good. So, this is my problem child. It's chuck roast that I used on the chili, if you saw my episode with the chili. So, my chuck roast is my problem child. So, I use that in my chili, if you saw my chili episode. So, it's just browned. I didn't use all of it, so I saved some. So it's going to be tough. It's not broken down. It's just browned. So I want to go ahead and use that up. So I'm thinking about myself, what I'm going to do. I want to know what you would do with that. So I'm going to pause for just a second. What would you do with that? I also have assorted vegetables. I have asparagus. I have some more Brussels sprouts. I have some different proteins I might use. I have Italian sausage that I made during Christmas time. Make a big link. I'll probably show a picture of that later on. And I freeze it. I think I have some tuna, some frozen tuna I got from Trader Joe's. So I'm not sure. So this is what I'm going to do. Hopefully you got an idea. I'm going to make a gumbo-like dish. I don't want to say gumbo because somebody's going to come up that Mississippi and looking for my head, gumbo is kind of a sacred thing. And I like gumbo, and I think I make a pretty good gumbo. I'm going to make a roux. That's what I'm going for. And then I can break down that chuck roast in my gumbo. So I'll use the chicken. I use the chuck roast. Got to have the Trinity roux. And I might, maybe the Italian sausage. I have to see what other kind of protein I have in there. Anyway, what would you do? Back at you. Okay, we're going to get at it now. Going to start with my roux. Equal parts flour and oil. Now, I'm going to use just regular vegetable oil. I've made it with butter before. I've made it with lard. I like it nice and dark, therefore it'll either be lard or vegetable oil. Usually, butter tends to make it a little lighter roux, so I'm going to start with flour and vegetable oil, equal parts-ish. 1 cup. And you gotta watch your roux. You gotta watch. You burn it, you're in trouble. It just doesn't work. So that's the only thing about this. You can't really, mess around too much. You can't answer the door, really. You can't answer the phone. There. And you just gotta stir. Yeah, so here's my roux. And I'm just gonna start. So it's playing around a little bit, playing with fire. So I had to cut my onions. And I said, you do not want to leave this. So I would stir it and cut a couple little bit. And anyway, so starting the gumbo. There we go. I don't know if you can see this, but it's really starting to turn peanut butter-ish. So from here on out, it's really, what you want to do. I like it a little darker. I'm going to continue, but I got to really watch it. And then I'll add my onion. Okay, from here, I'm going to go ahead and add my onion. It's probably another 5 minutes since I showed you the last one, so it really started to take a nice color. There we go. So now I want it to wait, it'll start getting a real dark chocolate. Oils from the onion will start seeping out and it will really start getting dark. You can start seeing it's getting darker and darker. Gotta watch, I mean, like I'm on 2 here. So you take a look at this. Look how dark that is because that is just gorgeous without being burnt. That's the only thing about this is that you need to take a good half hour or more to develop your nice roux. After that, you're kind of home free, I think. I'll let you know. So I'm going to add my celery. I snuck away again. You know, I'm like stirring with one hand and cutting with the other. And green pepper. So, let's talk a little bit about that. And the memento. Lows. Boy, that is just great. Okay, so I'm just going to let that go for a second here. Things. Okay, first off is I added the onion into the roux after I got the roux where I liked it. And I found this out watching one of my cooking shows. It was Throwdown with Bobby Flay. And Bobby Flay got his butt kicked. It was great. And I like Bobby Flay. And Michael Simon, those 2 big knuckleheads, I dig. So anyway, she did this, and she put the onions in, let it go, and the release of oils, and it got the roux nice and dark. It was awesome. It was great. So anyway, talk a little bit about stews, gumbos, things like that. So what I've noticed is that there's many regional stews in the U.S. One I just found out about, it blew me away. So we have gumbo, of course, Louisiana. And from what I know, the 2 different types of gumbo. So you have the Creole and the Cajun. The Cajuns are the swamp rats. I'm a swamp rats. And then the Creoles are more of the city dwellers. So I think you get more of the seafood from the bay, that kind of seafood, in the Creole, and different French influence. And the Cajuns are more your probably andouille, turkey, gator, things like that. Now, other stews that I've made that a lot of people don't know a couple of these is one is booyah. Booyah is a Minnesota stew. And, you know, it basically, you get a big old pot and everybody brings over something and you throw it in. That's from what I'm gathering. So, churches, fire stations, they all do it during booyah season, which I believe is October into early November. And it's great. So, booyah was me and the guys, you know, we'd be playing basketball. One of the brothers would shoot one and go, booyah, and, you know, kind of get in your face a little bit. I always, booyah, I didn't, you know, but it's a stew here in Minnesota, Wisconsin area. And then we have burgoo, which is a wonderful stew out of Kentucky. I've made that once or twice with lamb, a lot of lamb in that. I like that one. Of course, you have your different clam chowders. Now you got New England. Most of us know. Manhattan, so New England's the white. Manhattan is more like the vegetable, I do believe. You can't forget Rhode Island. That's a very brothy clam chowder. Cioppino. So that's the San Francisco stew. Seafood stew out of San Francisco. Then you got, what's the Mexican one? Chili con carne, chili... Canasada, I can't remember that one, but it's actually it's Mexican influence, but it's actually a southwestern stew. Of course, you got your green chili stew, all your green chili, New Mexico, so we have a little New Mexico connection. We like, okay, so I'm taking this off the heat right now. I'm gonna add some chicken stock. I made chicken stock a little while ago. I'm gonna add my chicken stock, and I'm really debating whether if I'm going to add tomatoes. I'm not quite sure. I don't even know if I'm going to do it. I should probably do it now. These are tomatoes I froze from the Garden of Love that I grew last spring. So I'm not sure. So got that. I also have some Italian sausage. I don't know if you can see it. It's in there somewhere. Italian sausage that I made. So that's where we're at. Let me show you and tell you what I got cooking right now, where I'm at in the process. So, what I did was I frozen stock, and I put it in, but I took it off the heat. I was just real nervous about burning the roux, so I wanted to get at least some moisture in there. So it's starting to melt down, starting to get a nice base here going. And then I also, let me see if we can get it over there. Yeah, that's my Italian sausage. I made that, it's been a family tradition here for the last 10 years, 15 years or so. And we make Italian sausage on like Christmas.
That one's gonna be a little short.
Yeah, that's fine. So anyway, when we do our Christmas sausage, Italian sausage, and I'm gonna cook this down and add this to the gumbo as well. I have to start making some decisions on how to do things. So I'm adding some chopped garlic to the pot that I've been cooking the Italian sausage. The garlic won't take long. And I'm going to put this in. Gumbo. I have to make a decision whether I'm going to add some tomato. It looks it's too thick. So more stock. I don't have any more stock, so I'd have to either make some stock out of some canned stuff. Beer. Maybe I'll add some beer to it. Just have to come up with some decisions now. Sort it in here. The chuck roast. And this Italian sausage with the garlic in here. So I'm also going to talk about a little bit of a dessert that I do now and then. Loving there. So garlic, got chuck roast, chicken, Italian sausage. A little bizarre, but that's great. Now, I made a little bit of stock, and I'm just going to go a little at a time because I don't know. And I think once this gets going, broth here. That's about as much I'm going to do because I'm going to add the tomatoes. The other thing I want to show you is, of course, I got the nambe chicharrones that they don't use whole chilies. So I have jalapenos and Fresnos and some hatch. Maybe, I don't know. Well, I'm going to taste and go from there. Oh, and then of course, okay, I think I had this on another episode here. What is that? What is that? I'm going to definitely add this to it. Here, my nambe. You mentioned that before. Kind of like the cayenne, a little sweeter though, I think. Good heat. Tony chicharrones, Tony cherries. Mentioned this before. You know what? I should mention salt. So, you should be putting salt in stuff. I'm very leery of it because I tend to over salt and not in the traditional way. So if I'm using stock, if I'm using something, a canned stock, and that has a lot of salt in it, or the cubes has salt in it. If I use a Tony chicharrones, that has salt in it. So, if I'm adding salt as I go to the vegetable stuff, sometimes it can get very salty. Okay, some oregano. Black pepper, my smoked black pepper. Going a little bit off the rails here. I'm going to put some Old Bay because it's celery salt, so there's celery. Also has red pepper, garlic, salt. A little bit more granulated garlic. Onion powder. I'm going to put some paprika in there, smoked paprika. See if I get some of the smokiness. Okay. Boy, still need some more. Definitely need some more broth here. So I got the gumbo. It's a little thick. I'm going to add some more broth. I added the tomatoes to it. Got that. So I want to go over here a little bit. Here's a couple books that I use. This is Queen Eye. My next door neighbor turned me onto this. She's a zydeco player. Went to the World's Fair in New Orleans in '84 with my soon-to-be wife. And now the cover's gone in this one, but it's that tells you a little bit here. And it is the Encyclopedia Cajun Creole Cuisine. Check that out. All right. A little saxophoning.
Compact disc, bang on. That recording was from
Doing this. Okay. Hey, a little birdie's tune in that one. And so, we got this stewing away. It'll be on an hour, maybe two. I don't know. I want to talk about, you see I have a bunch of cast iron pans. People talk about you have to oil them and season them and all that stuff. I've had these pans close to 40 years. There ain't no seasoning. No. The main thing about your cast iron pans, the main thing is you got to dry the heck out of them. So you cook them, you cook with them. I mean, it has so much oil on, I cook bacon and pork. And so you cook with it, you clean it, and you put it back on your stove. So we have a gas stove, and we just cook the heck out of it. Get all that moisture out, and it's good to go. I mean, they look great. 40 years. So I think that's it for a while. I'll show you how it all turns out. Right. So remember, taste, and then taste. You got to figure out what's going on. So, tasting. Put a little more sugar in there. Needs a little more heat, I think. Vinegar. Also, I grabbed some chilies that were hanging. Dried chilies. And for you that stuck around this whole time, I'm going to do my dessert now. Okay, dessert time. So the dessert is sour cream, brown sugar, vanilla extract, and fruit. You can use any fruit. So I have strawberries and blueberries today. That's usually what we do, but we've done apple, banana. Okay, chop up the fruit. And as you notice, I eyeball everything. The pluses and minuses. The pluses, you're very creative. You be creative. The minuses are the inconsistencies, of course. So that's why I taste, and your taste buds change every day. So I'm going to throw these in here. So it changes, but you get some good food. Blueberries. Some blueberries. Sour cream. So I'm looking at my glass there. Maybe a little bit more. Brown sugar. Tad of vanilla extract. So depending on the extract, this is, you know, a learning process with this. Sometimes it's so cheap that it tastes kind of like alcohol. So just put a little dab. Let's see how that works. I love it from the chef, the cook. Half. There's half. Do a half. Do a whole. That's nice. So there you have it. I'll take a picture when it's all done. Till next time. A skillet. And a saxophone.